We're here with Jarrad Lancaster, the Libertarian candidate for Indiana's 3rd Congressional District. And how's the campaign going so far?
You know, we've been busy and we've been on the move. A lot of parades, meeting a lot of new people, and I really enjoyed it. What
is your message?
You know, we have of course Republican and Democrat, and I'm a Libertarian. I'm a constitutionalist. I'm somewhere in between. On some issues, I'm actually probably a little further right on some issues and maybe a further left on some issues as well. So, you know, I'm pretty much a Freedom Caucus guy, kind of alignment with a lot of Thomas Massey's views and so forth. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at.
Traditionally, Libertarians in this district have received about 5% of the vote. What can you do to improve that number?
You know, we're in a unique year this year. We honestly are. We don't have an incumbent, of course, with Mr. Banks moving up, and that was part of actually what led me to run. You know, if it was if not me, who, and if not now, when. The Republican candidate, they won their primary with actually just a little bit under 25% of the Republican support, which, you know, kind of indicates that some of the conservatives and a lot of the independent parties are waking up to the fact that maybe they're getting tired of the two-party system.
So how do you, I guess, capture those maybe disgruntled Republicans?
You know, in all honesty, I think honesty. You know, if you're talking about policies, then let's get into the policies. I've been seeing both sides. You know, this is what our policy is, but they don't really dive into how that policy is going to affect things short term and long term.
Some of the questions we asked the two big party candidates, I guess, if you will, were one was about abortion. How would you tackle that, or should the government even tackle that?
Okay, well, let me start off by saying I am pro-life. I believe that life begins at conception, but there's constitutional issues as well. I think that the Supreme Court did the right thing by kicking it back to the states, and I think that if it ever does go back to the federal level, that within the legal prudence of everything, what has to be answered is when life does begin. So if the pro-life factions can come together, set that as a solid point of when life does begin, then it can start to be tackled at the federal level within the Constitution.
Spending on spending on Israel yeah. and spending on Ukraine is also something that we talked about. They're different countries, different rationales, but in general, how do you feel about the continued budgeting for those wars?
Well, first of all, I find it interesting you didn't say spending on Palestine, because really, when Israel-Palestine, we're funding both sides to play the middle. And my bigger question there, where Israel specifically is concerned, is it's kind of like the child that lives in your basement. How long do you allow the child to live in your basement before you put them out on your own? And we have never asked that question. We just continue to fund to support a country because we help that country more or less correlate, right? As far as you, and I believe that with Israel and Palestine, if we aren't sending the money, we're going to bring them to the table for peace talks. Unfortunately, this is a government versus government, and the people are caught in the middle. And that's what we really need to realize there.
Is man-made climate change real? Another question we asked the two candidates.
Is man-made climate change real? Let me ask how you're asking that, I guess, so to speak. Well, because there's been so many new conspiracy theories, for example, that have came out. I mean, is man-made climate change real as far as CO2 emissions and those kind of things? Sure. I mean, of course everything that we do has an effect on the climate around us and everything else. If you're asking about the conspiracy theory,
like the controlling the weather, was not exactly what I was asking.
Yes,
it is a separate question.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I wanted to clarify there. But yeah, I mean, we do have some climate change. Is it terrible? No, I don't think that it is. When we look at the U.S. versus the other countries that are really a problem, but for example, like China, the U.S. is nowhere close. I mean, I believe the U.S. has done a very good job of taking care of that, but at the same time, I believe that we've crippled ourselves economically along the way doing it.
What's the libertarian point of view, or your point of view as a libertarian, on FEMA's role in getting the southeast part of the nation back on its feet?
I kind of look at FEMA as being the government's version of the Red Cross. But I have questions. Where did all the funding for FEMA go? You know, we really haven't had a lot of natural disasters coming in from the past few years, short of probably Lahaina and Hawaii and that. And all of a sudden we find FEMA is more or less broke. And my questions are, where did that funding go? And I think that needs to be answered beyond a shadow of a doubt. Was it? They'd say they were talking, you know, the possibilities it was bled off for immigration. Was it? I mean, we have to have those answers. So, and then we have to have a correction moving forward. The American people, America first. That's who we need to take care of first. We still have a lot of stuff going on in Appalachia, of course, and now we've got Florida coming in right behind it. They're both at a little bit of different needs as far as FEMA is concerned, but really the majority of the support that I have personally seen going in has been from the American people. That's made me proud, in all honesty. I'm celebrating that end of it.
Final question that we posed to Kylie Adolph and Marlon Stutzman is about the deficit in general and the debt that the government has. Where should our spending priorities lie? Is there a way to fix that you are in favor of?
There is no short-term fix. I mean, let's be honest about it. And things are going to get worse before they get better. But the United States of America is what needs to be focused on first. I am all for helping foreign countries after the United States is taken care of and the people within the United States. When we have no more homeless, when the roads are fixed and everything's taken care of, then we can help other nations. But sometimes you have to start at home first.
Jarrad Lancaster is the Libertarian candidate for Indiana's 3rd District congressional seat, currently held by Jim Banks. And we thank you for your time, sir.
And I thank you. Appreciate you having me.
Where can people learn more?
You know, if you want to find me, the easiest way to get to my social medias is to visit lancasterforcongress.net. And from there you will find a link to all my social media.